What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series of Lake Lanier. Now, if you've missed the previous videos, just go out and look at our lake breakdown playlist. You'll see all of them that we have out there. We've gone through the satellite imagery of this lake and we've broken down the entire thing, hitting on all the key spots that we were able to find from the satellite imagery. And if you remember when we were doing that, I mentioned that, hey, we've got offshore spots out here as well, but I can't really show them to you from a satellite view. We need to look at them from a contour perspective. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're looking at the south region of Lake Lanier that we have broken down, and we're going to look at the offshore hotspots that I have marked out here for you guys to take a look at. Now, did I mark every single offshore hotspot on Lake Lanier? No, that's not possible. Look how huge this thing is. But hopefully the ones that I mark for you will be very helpful to you, and then you'll be able to learn from some of those, maybe build some other patterns based on what you're able to find from what we've marked. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. But before we do, I guess one thing, just want to remind you guys, go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have all these waypoints, the offshore stuff and the stuff that we looked at on Google Earth. We put them all onto an SD card for you, and then you can import that into your graph. So pretty cool stuff. You can get the SD card or you can just do the digital files. And then the best thing too, we also have now the Simplistic Fishing mobile app. So you can go out, take a look at the southeast region. That's going to give you access to Lake Lanier and all the other lakes that we have in that region. We're continuing to put more in there. So go take a look at it. Simplistic Fishing, it's out on the App Store, out on the Google Store, and it has a 3-day free trial. So you can test it out, play around with it for a few days and see if you like it before you actually do any purchases. All right, enough of the promo stuff. Let's jump into this. We're going to start down here by the dam, way down here. Hopefully, as it loads in. I never know what my internet's going to do. And we're just going to take a look at some of these spots, or actually all the spots that we have marked here for offshore. So let's just start right here. We're going to start right here on this point. Just a really good point, right? Looks really good, has a nice flat top to it, so definitely something we would want to look at. Over here, we come back in here. You can't see it right here, but there's actually a brush pile right here. Someone marked that there's a brush pile, so I went ahead and put a marker there for you guys as well. Now, if you're trying to follow along with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hug this side of the bank line the whole entire time, and then I'll touch on the stuff out here, and then we'll just work our way up. And then when we get up here, we're going to get up here to this Lanier Bridge, which is right up in here. I'm going to kind of pretend that that's a stopping spot. And then we're going to turn back around. We're going to work our way back out, and then we'll cover that next section once we get up here and make the whole turn up in here. So anyways, let's go ahead and pull back here. Let's go back to what we were doing. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So let's keep going down this side. Now, one thing I didn't mark here is that there's two little fishing things right here that says fish here. So you definitely want to take a look at that. I didn't mark it, but you can tell if you just zoom in on it a little bit that this could definitely be a potential place where you might see some brush piles. It looks like there's a fish attractor there. If it is, we've already got it marked for you. We're just not right here. We're using the Navionics mobile app, so we're not looking at those waypoints right now. We're just looking at offshore stuff. But definitely take a look at this. It's got a nice little flat top, and with those two spots being there where people have marked things, there could be brush piles or something like that to go take a look at. All right, zooming back out here though, if we're taking a look at this area, I really like this right here. It's got a nice long extended point that comes out pretty shallow on top with a nice ridge off to the right of it. So that could definitely be a juicy spot. Another spot in here, you know, like I said, I didn't mark everything, but over here where you see the saddle that's in here, this could be a really good area to take a look at as well. Now, one thing I do want to note is there's going to be several different spots it looks like I just kind of skipped over, and that's because we've already identified them from the Google Earth side as being a hard spot. So for example, I think there's a nice little hard spot right out here. So this is going to be a good offshore spot as well. It's going to show up, but it would show up as a hard spot more than just the offshore stuff. So this was going to kind of go both ways, but if you were looking at the complete card and you have the offshore hotspots and the offshore spots and the hard spots together, you'll see that some of these are actually going to be doubled up where I've said, hey, this is a hard spot, but I'm also identifying it as an offshore spot. So talking offshore, you know, a couple more spots. Of course, I wanted to mark them all, but I couldn't, but maybe looking here too. Obviously you want to look out here around the edge of this island and then this saddle. And then if we go out here to the main lake, just want to point these out to you. You've got some humps that are out here. So this one up here, I think it was 15 feet or something like that. This one's 16, 17 feet. This one out here is 30 feet, so I didn't mark it. This one looks really good. It's like 17, 18 feet. And then you've got a really long one out here. You've got a couple different humps out here. Why is it wanting to update my maps? Pretty good humps out here, 17 foot there. And then you could also come down here and see this blue line that's right here. This is a roadbed, so you may want to take a look at it. It's like 28 feet, so it's pretty deep, but you could take a look at that and then also come out here. I didn't mark it, but you could take a look at the top of this one. It's gonna be very similar to those. So if one of those is on, you wanna look at all of them and see if you can maybe pattern that to a couple different humps out there. You could spend all day just fishing those humps probably. All right, moving over here, we've got a nice long extended point, right? So I really like this, you know, getting down off the edges of it. But also, while you're looking at this point, come in here and get closer to this spot right here. Notice how it's got some pretty good breaks right there. So that's probably going from 11 foot to about 32 foot. So something's going on right in there. Probably a hard spot or something like that. You know, really rocky spot that has a good break. But some good stuff. You got kind of the same thing here too, right? This nice little point that comes off here. But I can't mark all these for you. I'd be marking everything under the sun from an offshore spot standpoint, but there's clearly going to be a lot of offshore opportunities on this lake. Let's move on down here, see what else we found back in here. Just some key spots that I wanted to point out to you. Right here, nice, really nice, like flat that comes out here, flat little point that comes out here with a nice break. Over here, if you look at this really closely, it's got like a flat top that comes out here at 14 foot and then a really sharp break on the inside. These things can really be good, like getting right there where that break is can be good. Right here, kind of the same thing. Move it on up. This one looked good, right? It looks good from a, you know, from a visual standpoint, but it was just really deep, so I didn't mark it for you, but another little point that's coming off there. Now, I will note again, there's a lot of hard spots that are in here that you're gonna be able to see. If you go out and look at the Google Earth stuff, again, you'll see me talking about them, but those are also gonna pop up there if we're looking at this on our graph. Then we're going to move out here, another good point, right? Nice little rounded point. It's got pretty, you know, pretty calm contours going out. So definitely something to look at. And then if you really want to get crazy out here, you might want to swing out here and see what's going on right here. I mean, maybe if the water's down 10 foot or so, that could come into play. So just check it out. Could be nothing, but I always like looking at those little places like that that really pop out. You know, they just stand out to your eye. That one right there to me just pops right out at me. It says, hey, look right here. Another spot too that you might want to look at is right here as well. You know, nice little flat top on this point with a pretty good break. And you kind of get the same type thing. So if you find one that works, then just try to find others on the lake that are very similar to it. All right, let's keep going down, see what else we find. Back in here says spawning area. I liked this point right here. I really like that dock right there too, just the way that it sets up. But this point is perfect. It's like the last point that you get to before the spawning bay, which is gonna be back in here, probably gonna spawn back in here. So they're gonna come down in here and they're gonna stop right here. They're gonna chill out, hang out, probably mess around right in here and eat and gorge out and everything like that. And they're gonna go back here. They're gonna do their spawning and they're gonna come back up here, hang out for a while, do some more gorging, and then they're gonna work their way out towards the main lake. So this is a really good, you know, when you hear those people talk about good stopping spots, that looks like a really good stopping spot. Hopefully I'm right. I could be totally wrong. You know, some of these things are just total guess. We try to guess where all these fish are, but sometimes, man, you'll go out there and you'll find fish in the dumbest place ever. And it's because someone threw a brush pile down there or something like that that you just can't pick up from a contour perspective. All right, so let's go out here. Another good spot right here, right? You got a nice little point that comes out here with a nice little ridge that's going on right in here. Another thing you might want to look at here too is just come over here. If you're already scanning out here and searching for stuff, come over here and just take a look at this roadbed and just see if there's anything out on that roadbed that you could take a look at. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second, let you guys catch up where I'm at. So I am right here. So you kind of see where I am. I'm going to zoom back in here. We're off the edge of this island now, right? That looks juicy, definitely. That island's got this like 15-foot top, like a nice little flat that comes there, and then it tapers off. You know, people probably have some brush piles or something out here. There's something out here, guaranteed. And then if you look in here, you've got this flat that comes out, right? So right here, it's like 11 foot, and then boom, it drops big time. So you've got a nice little break going on right here, and you got this roadbed, which is this blue line right here. that goes right across kind of that saddle between the two islands. So this area in here could be good too, you know, maybe in the fall time, get out there with some spooks or something like that and walk them across that big flat and just see if you can find something like that. That could also be a pretty good area to find shell or something like that. So just take a look at that area. That area looks very, very juicy. There's all kinds of good stuff. Even if you come down in here, got a nice little like pinch point right here too. You could take a look at, and you've got this flat that comes out over the top and another saddle back in here. So you've got just a lot going on right here in this area. All right, let's keep moving on, see what else we can find. Again, I didn't mark everything, right? I just tried to mark some of the key stuff, and then you should be able to find other stuff that's like it. But again, I like this too, this nice big flat top, right here off the edge of this rounded point. So it drops pretty fast, but then it just flattens back out. All right, then we're gonna move up here. I'm sure there's stuff back in here, but we're gonna move up here and just look right out here where this Shoal Creek is. You can see the two river arms that are come up here. See these dashes? These are the two creek arms coming through here. And then this is the big, point, or I guess, or humps that are out here right between the two of them, which means that this is probably a pretty active area considering where they're set up at. So these two humps, this one right here and this one right here, are probably going to be some pretty good humps to go take a look at certain times of the year. So definitely go out there and look at those. Let's stay out here to the right. I'm going to go back in here, and like I said, then we're going to work our way up to that Lanier Bridge. I'm going to come down here. I really like this point. I think I messed up when I put the point there. I really meant to put it more like right in here. But if you just go scan this whole point, more than likely it's going to be right around in here somewhere that you're going to find some fish, if they're there. All right, let's keep moving back, see what else we can find back in here. Another good point back in here. Nice little rounded point with some really good breaks off each one. And again, it's one of those staging points, right? It happens before they get back into the very backs of these, or maybe they stop here before they go back in here. So it's several different things to look at there. All right, I'm gonna pull this back. I do wanna say, I remember this spot from Google Earth, but this is a nice little hard spot that's underneath this dock right here. So if you're out here, just take a look at it. You can even kind of see it on the contour. See how it gets really wide right here? That means it's completely flat right there in those areas. It's pretty flat here. It steps down a little bit, but it's pretty flat this whole area. So it's probably like a little drop here or something like that around that dock. So take a look at it. I don't have it marked here, but you'll see it on the Google Earth side. You'll see what we were talking about. All right, we're gonna move up here. We've also got another, what appears to be maybe a ledge or something like that right in here. Notice it goes from 11 foot to about 24 foot. So something serious going on right in here. Be a good place to go take a look at. Then we're gonna move our way on back here. Come back here, how about right in here? This looks pretty good too. Let's go take a look at that. Nice flat point that comes out. You know, again, it's around a lot of places where they could be spawning. So this could be a good staging spot for them to set up at, come in and come out, you know, and hang out here and things like that. So definitely want to look at that. Then we're going to move up here. Let's just see what these things say. It just says fishing. If I click it, fishing. That doesn't do me any good. All right. Well, that doesn't do us any good here, but if you notice, I'm going to zoom in. Maybe you'll see it if I zoom in. There's a fishing tractor back in here. Again, we've got those all marked for you guys, so you'll know they're back there, so you'll see them. Then we're going to come in here. I'm probably going to be some type of spawning or something going on back in here, but this point looks really good. So anytime you get these little rounded points with where they kind of taper off, those can be really good points, especially like in the fall time and things like that. And then there's another spot here. See if you can guess it on the screen. I'll give you just a couple seconds. I wish I could get rid of this thing. Let's start this thing and stop it, or try to get rid of it somehow. I don't know if I can't get rid of this stupid thing. So I'm just going to move it down here out of our way. And now here we go. We're going to do a little quiz here. For those of you guys learning some offshore stuff, I'm going to zoom in right here, and I want you to kind of just, take a look and see if you can figure out where the next spot is that I'm going to point out to you. It's not marked. It doesn't have a point on it. All right, so I think I gave you guys enough time. So if I'm just looking through here and I'm trying to study this lake, again, a lot of the things that I look at is I'm looking for things where it's flat, where the contours get wide, or where the contours get really, really tight. And if you can find where they get wide and make a point, and then they get really tight, That means that it's flat, and then there's something going on that's a really big drop. The spot I wanted you guys to take a look at was right here. Notice how it comes out off the edge of this point, and it's like another point. So, you know, most people are going to visually see this as the point when you're on the lake. There's actually another one that's right here. And right off the edge of that point is some pretty serious dropping going on right in there. So, not saying that's going to be the spot, but those are kind of those secret spots that you'll look at that most people are going to hit that point, and they're not even going to think to go over here and take a look at this. So look, 23 foot to 5 foot. Something's going on there for sure. Could be a hard spot too. You might not even have it marked. But let's go ahead and zoom back out, kind of show you guys where I'm at. So we've covered this whole section down here. And now we're going to work our way up here, and we're going to go this way, and then we're going to turn around that bridge and work our way back out to the main lake. So let's go back in. We talked about those. Let's work our way up here now. All right. Got a nice, another little rounded point. Now this one's not as good as some of those that I showed, you know, where they had the big flat contour, you know, wide contour, and then you had a drop of it. But this has a bunch of little skinny lines, right? Which means you've got some really big drops going on right in here. You've got, if you get in close to the shore, you're at 10 foot or 28 foot. So there's an 18-foot difference somewhere between right in here and right in there. So definitely a spot, you know, that you want to go take a look at. Those can be really good spots. And I like it because it's a point too, right? A point that's going back into what looks like could be a potential spawning bay or a spawning cove. So that could be a really good spot to take a look at. Moving on over here, this looks interesting. Flat top, really big breaks, right? There's those tight contours again that I was telling you about. Out here off the island, kind of got the same thing. Got a nice little like underwater point that comes off the edge of this island right in here. Another thing about this island too is that blue line. That means you've got a road bed that comes through here, or maybe what used to be a road bed. And fishing that saddle could be some primo stuff to take a look at. Even though it's not marked, could be something to look at. I kind of skipped over. I was supposed to stay to the left side and then work my way up. So I'll stay down here to the left, come down to the next spot. This one's marked with the buoy as well. You can see, just self-explanatory, nice little hump or point that comes out here, whatever you want to call it. Really good contours around it. Move back here into the back. Maybe take a look at this right here where this little buoy is, because you got that flat top. And then here you can just see these really good points. They're all really good points. This one, look at that nice. Let's go up here and take a look at that one. Looks juice. All right, 10 foot on top, right? 27 foot below it. So, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Gonna keep moving up. Same type thing here, right? Good little point that comes out. Again, if you're not paying it, if you're just looking at the bank line, you don't even realize that this is a point. You're probably gonna come up here and say, oh, I'm fishing the point, but the point's actually way out here. And that's right where you get those breaks, and that's typically right where the fish will collect, is out there. You've got another good point that's out here too. Moving on up, more points. We talked about that point around the island and that saddle. We come up here, I don't know what it is about certain spots like this, but every once in a while you'll find a spot where you've got like these really shallow flats, and you get out off of the flat as far as you can until it makes the drop. And a lot of times they're setting right on that edge. Now, I don't know about this one. This one I could be way off here. But again, I just mark it because I want you guys to scan it and check it out, because I can't guarantee there's fish everywhere. But if you keep hitting these high percentage of spots enough, you're going to find something. But I really liked this. This has a really nice drop off there that I really liked. And I liked how it went back up into that big flat back there. All right, we're going to come back up in here. Again, another good point. You're going to want to scan this whole thing, right? I've got the marker there, which is kind of on top of the flat that's on top of this point. But even right here, it goes up to 14 foot, and then you have like a 3-foot break. So this is like the top of it, and then this is the big flat around it. But just scan the whole point. All right, here's the bridge, which I talked to you guys about. I'm going to skip over that, or not skip over. I'm not going to go under it. I'm going to come back this way. We're going to work our way back to the left. All right, there is a spot back in here. See if you can, I'll let you guys try to guess again. There's 2 spots on here that I don't have marked that I think you guys should take a look at. So see if you can guess them really quick. Actually, I'm going to say 3 now. All right, so let's go through and let's talk about them. Actually, it's going to be 4. So we got this little spot right here. It's kind of hidden, right? With big break. So take a look at that. whatever the heck is going on back in here. There's a nice, big, huge break going on right here off the shore. You're basically going from nothing to about 40 foot in no time. So there could be some rock here and things like that. You've also got a road bed that's back here. Let's zoom back up here. I should have put a mark right there. That's normally a spot I would have put a mark at. Right smack dab right on that road bed is where we want it, because that looks really good. Now I might not have marked it because I already have it marked as the road bed, but that would be a really good spot to take a look at. The edge of that point where that road bed is could be good. Also down in here, right here, obviously the spot that I marked. And then you could even take a look over here. I mean, I didn't mark anything there, but again, you got those nice wide contours, right? You're getting those flatter tops, kind of the same thing here. I really like this because this is just, if you're trying to find that stuff that's close to the bank that has the really sharp drops, this looks really good. And if they're spawning back in here, they could set up right in here. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, about where you find a flat and you get those really sharp contours that are going up into that flat, and typically they'll set like right on that ridge. They do that a lot on our local lake here in Texas, but this right in here, definitely like right in this area, I would look at that. All right, let's zoom back out here. Let's see, we're about 20 minutes into this thing. We're gonna work our way out to the main lake and we'll stop there. So we'll probably stop at that point up there. So let's keep going. Again, nice little spot right here, right? I don't know what's going on with the contours here, but this is just an interesting looking area. So take a look at that. Nice little spot there, nice little rounded little point that comes off behind that island. Could be interesting. That one's not really like super interesting to me. Then we're gonna move up. I didn't notice these, but I bet these are, oh, I thought they were gonna be brush piles, but they're sea buoys. Never mind. All right, come up here. We got this flat that comes out way out away from those docks. It's like out here around this marina, but to the back side of it, you've got a big flat that's over here, and you've got these really big drops that come through here. You even got a nice little point that's out there too, but look, 10 foot to probably, I don't know, 50, 60 foot. Yeah, 46 foot. So something's going on here, and that's also a good place where people like to put brush piles and stuff like that, right? It just sets up really nice. And then while you're back here, check out this little, if you can get back here. I don't know if you could. Doesn't look like you can. But if you could find a way to get back here, maybe you kayakers or something like that, there is a road bed that comes back here. And it crosses right here and makes a really nice little pinch point right in that area. So if you can get back in there, or maybe even you guys that are bank fishing may be able to get back in there too, and you actually have a nice little offshore spot you can fish from the bank. All right, let's go back in here, see what else I've marked up in here. A little submerged bridge this way out here. It's really, really deep, but it's out there. Then up here, probably a couple different spots we could have marked for you guys. Right up in here, this little point up in here could be decent. This one right here. Hopefully you're starting to kind of figure out the things that pop out to me as far as good spots to go take a look at, you know, maybe right in here too. But I really like this one. This is my favorite one. That's why I got it marked, because you got a nice little hump out here. You got this saddle, which saddle's about 18 foot or so. You've actually got a little ledge right there on the edge of that saddle too. But this hump that's out here looks like it can definitely be productive. Again, another one of those areas where you might find some shell too. Then we're gonna move up. And over here, this one looks like probably a community spot because I've already got it marked, but you can tell off this island, right? Most people are going to go up and fish the island, but come out here where this buoy is and work this area out here. All right, I think we've made it to the main lake, so I'm just going to hit these couple more points and then we'll call it a wrap for today. This is going to take us a while to get through, but I think it's worth it. It's kind of fun going through this offshore stuff. So right here, we've got a nice flat top as well with some really good breaks. Around this island, I didn't really see anything too special about it. I mean, obviously, it's got really good breaks and stuff like that. I'm not saying there's not fish around it, but I didn't see anything that really popped out to me. But I would definitely fish the saddle. Anytime I find those islands, I want to fish the saddles. Those can be really good areas for sure. Then moving up here, we've got some really good points here. Look at this break that's here in this saddle. This one's pretty juicy. So you got 9 foot to 18 foot. So somewhere right in there, as well as fishing that saddle. So we're going to come up here. When we get to this last one, we got to this little fishy. We're going to stop right there. So let's talk about these three. We've got a hump that's out here. There's actually two of them. There's one right here, and there's another one right here. And it's cool because almost every time I find these things, they have buoys on them. All right, somebody said there's a hump right there. There's no hump there. All right, then we're going to move up here. This looks interesting too because you've got, let's see if I can get that more centered. You got this long extended point that's coming off the edge of this island. Then you've got another hump that's out here. So you got a little hump, a little saddle, and then this point that comes out here. So anywhere in this area, you know, scan around all in this area, see what you can find there. And then let's go up and let's stop right here at this point. And I'm actually going to change the color of this one because if I don't, I will lose my spot for next time. So there we go. We're going to mark it. That's a hump that's out there. That one's pretty deep, 30 foot. But again, you know, if the water's fluctuating a lot, that could end up coming into play. So we're going to stop right there, show you guys where we stopped at. We made some decent progress. We went through this whole side over here, which was good. This whole backside back down in here. We went all the way down in here and then worked our way all the way up. So we still got to keep working. We're probably going to have 2 or 3 more videos just on this south side. This is our biggest region. But again, guys, go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. Go out to the App Store, go out to Google, download our app, give it a try. It's a 3-day free trial, so nothing to lose there. And make sure you go out and catch your PB. I'll come back with the next video on Lanier. We're going to start where I put that shipwreck icon. We're going to start there and do the same thing. We're going to work our way up the east side of this whole section until we get to the tip of it. Then we'll work our way back down the west side until we get back down to the dam. So it's going to take us a few videos, but hopefully it's worthwhile. If you guys like this, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Give me some feedback. Love to hear it. Anyways, until next time, guys, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.